First matter of business is the Pledge of
Recording in
Allegiance.
progress.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to this meeting. I apologize for being a moment late. Thank you. Thank you for your forgiveness. I appreciate, I didn't know I had no garlic tonight.
Thank you.
All right.
From St. Bridget. Roll call, baby.
Roll call, Carol, please. I'm here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Dave Pope, Lou Cavallo.
Here.
Joe Duba.
Here.
Jack McHugh.
Here.
Okay, I'd like to put Jack McHugh in for Richard Antoinetti, who's not here, and Joe Duva in for David Pope, who's not here, and Robert Marinero in for Dan DeVito, who's not here. Thank you.
And that's why we have alternates.
That's important to have alternates, especially on a night like tonight, huh? Crummy,
It's just like last
wet
night.
weather. Yep. Okay.
I think we want to say something nice about the current judge here, Paul.
The current judge here, Paul. What's that? What am I missing?
Execution too.
8:30, so we're going to move along, yes.
Public participation.
Okay, move to public participation. Now, limited to anything that's not on the agenda, since we don't have any public hearings tonight, members of the public who want to get up and speak, please feel free to come forward. Give us your name and address.
Mr. Chairman, we do have a public hearing tonight, technically.
Oh, we do? Oh, I'm sorry. All
Night
right, well,
Street.
that's the Night Street matter? Okay, anything except the Night Street matter. So you can speak during the hearing for the Night Street matter. Public participation is for any other people that want to say anything else besides Night Street. Thank you. Good evening. I know who you are, but you're going to have to say who you are for the record.
267 Bryant Road, Watertown. And I just need clarification. Oh, hold on a minute.
Yep. I just need clarification because I don't come to these meetings very often, Mr.
Okay.
Chair. So we're allowed to ask questions pertaining to things that are not on here, but when you get to communication and bills, are we allowed to discuss anything then with you?
No.
That's
this
just
is-
for
this is-
you.
This is your big opportunity. You're-
But it's on here, so am I allowed to talk about it?
Yes, you are. It's not at a public hearing. It's okay.
Okay, so you
I'm
mean
gonna-
we
I'm
can't
gonna-
talk about the things in the public hearings?
Yes, you can't
But we
talk
can talk
about the
about other
things-
things on the agenda?
That's correct. And we're going to
Okay.
correct the agenda to make that clarify. We're working on it, we're working on modifications to the agenda to make it simpler.
Well, if I came all the time, I'd understand it,
Okay.
and I
Day,
don't.
you're
So,
you're on board.
She could talk about Munson Road. Just
You don't want me to say anything, okay.
I clarify myself.
Oh, I'm sorry, I am a question asker, and that's how it goes. I just wanted to let you know that I've already been here last meeting, and you weren't all here, but dirt roads in town are my passion. I live on one. I lived on one before this one. It's caused a lot of headaches for us. I know a lot of other people it's caused headaches for. I know a lot of things where people wanted to build and couldn't because it was a dirt road and they couldn't afford to bring the road up to town standards. So I'm extremely concerned about what you're going to decide to do with our non-maintained town roads, basically the dirt ones that don't get plowed through in the wintertime. I'm afraid you're going to set a precedent, and a lot of people are going to come back and want to build on those that got turned down before, and I think it's going to get to be a real mess. So I'm hoping that you'll take all those thoughts into consideration before you decide. I know most of you have been in town a long time. Once we do things once, then it's open door for everybody. So please just think carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming out on this rainy night. Anybody else from the public? Yes, sir.
Good evening. My name is Ken Carroll. I live on Camp Street in Oakville.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
What's that?
I didn't get your name, I'm sorry.
Ken Carroll. Remember, I talked to you, Carol.
Yes, but I just need you
Oh.
for the record.
Yep, Ken
Yes, thank you.
Carroll.
I got you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm here tonight because of blight issues in town. One particular that I've been working on with Carol and Mark is on Dalton Street. There's a property on Dalton Street that has been working on cars, dismantling, storing, scrapping. I presented it to Mark as well as Carol, sent them the email back in October. They got back to me, I think it was Musaf got back to me and said that, give us a little time, we're going to try to contact the homeowner and see what we can do. Keep in mind that this issue has been going on for over 3 years, maybe 4. So I gave him time, and a couple of months go by, and I go back to the office. Mark wasn't there, he was on vacation. So I talked to Musaf, and he said the case was resolved. There is no more issue, no more blight issue. I said, how could you say that? And he said, well, because we have pictures, we went out to the property, and everything's taken care of. I said, well, I just went by the property. Can I see the pictures? And he showed me a picture of a property, clean. Nothing going on there. But the pictures that I had of the property, there are 6 to 7 boats with trailers. There are campers being dismantled. So obviously the issue is not resolved, right? You have a blight ordinance in effect. I read the ordinance. There's teeth in the ordinance if it's applied. For Mark to just come out and say that the whole issue was resolved, I'd like to find out how he resolved it and why there's still sailboats on the property. Somebody I talked to in zoning, when I made a complaint, I said there's 7 boats on the property, and they said, no, that's impossible. I said, what do you mean it's impossible? And they said, well, there's maybe 2 or 3. I'm saying, wait a minute. I'm saying 7, you're saying 3. What is the zoning ordinance for boats on property? Unregistered, covered with tarps. So people are making their own decisions on how they want to apply the zoning ordinances. And that's not going to fly with me. I have several other properties in town I took pictures of. There are people selling cars on the corner of Falls Avenue and Sunnyside, down by the little market down there, right? It's called curbing. You probably know about it. This has been going on for years. They put them on the people's property. It's unsightly. It brings down property values. There's a gentleman in town on Sylvan Lake Road. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this, everybody, right? The fire engines. I guess he's a volunteer in the fire department. You know, I give him a lot of credit for doing what he's doing for the volunteer for the fire department. However, you can't have this on your property. These, from what I understand, they're being refurbished and they're going to be put in a museum. But you can't do that out in the public on your own property. If this was across from your guys' houses, you wouldn't like it, okay? That's a couple of them. Here's another one. Well, here's the house that the cars are being curbed and sold on this people's property, okay? That's not in our ordinances. This is one more. Right across from Ordinary Joe's, Ojo's. You familiar? It's a property right diagonally across. Look at all the piles of junk, garbage, crap, everything that can attract rodents and every other thing to the property. Who'd want to live next door to that? Would you? Would you? Would you? I'll take that as a no and a no and a no, okay? This house, this is almost right across from the police station. House was built like 3 years ago. This pickup truck has been on that property for almost that same amount of time. Do you see that the pickup truck and the bed are separated? That's obviously a zoning issue. It doesn't even have a plate on it. Those two cars that were curbed on the corner of Falls Avenue, they don't have plates on them either. And lastly, I'll get back to the one I originally talked about. This is the property that I talked to Carol and them in the office. There are 7 boats on that property. Mark said that they were working on putting up a garage. I didn't see any permits pulled for a garage. Nothing has changed there. Somebody produced a picture for me that showed this property from the garage over, nothing over here, nothing at all. So as far as Mark was concerned, the property was okay.
Okay, Ken, you.
That was clear.
Your time is running, but I would, you know what you could do for us? You could give us those photos and give us the addresses of those properties,
They're on there.
all right? And I will follow through personally. But do that and thank you.
Let me ask you one question.
Right.
All you people are on the board, right? We have the inspectors in town, Mark, Assistant Musaf, who does something else. And there's other people that are associated with the board. You guys see this stuff in town. Why isn't it brought to the board's attention and dealt with? Do you know what this does to the town? It erodes property values. People are going to move out. Or maybe it's not a concern because it's more in the Oakville area, but these are on main roads. This is on French Street. This is on Buckingham. You know what I mean? Right across from the police station.
Okay, Ken, thank you.
Please get back to me
I will.
soon.
We will. Leave your,
I will follow up.
leave your contact information with Carol.
Yep.
All
Oh,
right.
she got it.
All right.
I followed up with
All
my
right.
complaint,
Thank you. All right,
and Mark never got back to
all
me.
right, all right.
Please find out.
We hear you. I hear you.
Thank you.
I'm sure the board hears you.
I hope so.
Leave those with Carol, please. And the addresses of those properties. And the addresses of those properties. Leave the addresses of those properties also with Carol. Okay, yes, all right, thank you.
So can we take those?
Anybody else from the public? Yes, sir. It's terrible.
Tom Plunges, 898 Litchfield Road, Watertown. And I read in the paper where the developer who wants to put houses on Bunsen Road, it wants to have the town pay for the rebuilding of Bunsen Road. Am I correct?
There is an application.
Okay. Now, years ago, on Ledgewood Road, it's a development near me, a drain system was sealed off, which caused flooding for me and other neighbors. And I've been relentlessly working with town and the state to get this fixed. It's been on the town agenda to fix it a couple of times. I have the paperwork here. And every time I ask, when is it going to be fixed, I'm told there are more important projects in town to use the taxpayers' money for. And this is way before this man wants to rebuild Munson Road. So why should my tax dollars go to pay to have Munson Road rebuilt for the benefit of this developer while I'm still getting flooded out? I have many letters, many pictures, and also there was a developer who put 2 houses on Plunges Road, Morris Pelletier. And he was required, in a pleasant way, to give up a building lot so Watertown could put a fire department on Litchfield Road. And he did. He sacrificed it very cheaply to the town. Now, where does this developer get the gall to ask for a road to be rebuilt for nothing? Where this developer here gave up a building lot for a fire department. I have the deed here. And I can hand this in to who?
Carol. Thank you, sir. Anybody else from the public?
Hello, my name is Mary Deerdorf, and I'm at 271 Town Line Highway in Watertown. I'm here because of Mr. Rosansky. I read his editorial letter in the paper last week. And I guess, I moved here with my husband to be closer to our kids. We retired here, and I'm happy to pay my taxes, but I agree with him. I don't understand why we should be paying taxes for a property for a developer who is probably perfectly capable of being able to pay this. So our taxes shouldn't have to go up, and our taxes should not have to be allocated for this specific project to pave this road if he wants to, or she wants to put in 6 expensive properties. So I'm just here because I agree with him, and I want to make sure that I make my voice known that I don't think that the taxpayer dollars should be allocated to fixing this road. It's just, again, I just don't think that's right.
Thank you. Anybody else from the public? Good evening, Catherine.
I was being polite, let everybody go ahead of me. Good evening, Catherine Camera, 31 Cottage Place. I wrote it all down so I could go fast for you. At the last Planning and Zoning meeting, Commissioner Antonetti spoke passionately about his concern for traffic increase in the Watertown and Oakville area due to Waterbury adjusting a medical marijuana dispensary to include recreational marijuana. The dispensary is a few miles from our borders, but Mr. Antonetti was very concerned. I just can't seem to understand the thought process of the commission, where there was very little concern, if any, over the traffic to downtown Oakville area when you're adding a drive-through restaurant, if it was to be allowed there. There was no requirement for a traffic study to be submitted with the application, but yet there is such great concern over traffic emanating from a business that's not even in our town. So with that being the case, it seems like the best way to be consistent is to make traffic impact a top priority for all applications, none more so and none less so. It would be fair to all the areas of town if that was a top priority in every application. Changing subjects. I don't know if any of you attended the EDC meeting last night with Matthew Puglisi, the Deputy Commissioner of the Connecticut Department of Economic and Community Development. What struck me is that he talked about how helpful advanced CT can be to a town, and that's exactly what our EDC hired for a study of the Sealy property. I was a regular attendee of the EDC meetings for a couple of years, and I know that the Sealy property was a top priority for them. They wanted that study in order to ask that the development be in line with the study, so it would move smoothly through the planning and zoning process. And we all know that's not how it happened, and it's still going on. It was the perfect opportunity for what he discussed as a charrette process. And I think the purpose of having that meeting last night was to get the commission members to view the EDC planning and zoning process in a more collaborative light. And I certainly hope to see Watertown start moving in that direction, because it was clear by the speaker's presentation that the old idea of stick it to the people just doesn't work. It's not a working model. And lastly, I would like to comment also on the very unusual and bold request that the town participate in the improvement of Munson Road for the developer of 7 luxury homes. And I'm going to ask that you please do not give this request any consideration. It's basically unheard of, and the taxpayers of this town are overburdened already, and they're worrying about that water and sewer judgment. I don't know of a single resident who's in support of this, and I think there will be an uprising, to be honest with you, if it's allowed, since it would set a precedent for eternity. And not to mention, it would serve to improve a road that would enhance a business member that's on your commission, and I really don't think you want to go down that road. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other members of the public wish to speak? Any other members of the public wish to speak at this time? Hearing no, oh, yes, ma'am. Last minute hand there.
Just have a quick question.
Okay.
Denise Russ, 135 Porter Street, Watertown. With the Munson Road project, has the town ever paved paper roads or roads like this previously, or will this be the first time it's being done?
At public participation, the commission's not obligated to answer your questions, but that issue will come up in our discussions of the application.
Okay, I appreciate that. And also, I have to agree with everybody that spoke against it. I don't think the town should be involved in this. The contractor wants his homes. He has to supply them the road, and I am not in favor of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll ask again, any other members of the public wish to speak? Any other members of the public? Okay, we're going to move to the next item on the agenda, which is the minutes. Are the minutes prepared?
They are not ready yet to be approved.
Did you say they are or not?
They are not
Okay.
ready.
Do I hear a motion to table the minutes, the approval of the minutes?
I'll make a motion to table the approval of January 3rd and the February 7th regular meeting minutes.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Nope. Minutes acceptance has been tabled. We now go to staff report. Mark is not here, so we're privileged to have his shadow, his protege.
His intern.
His intern.
We can use whatever words we want, just don't call me late to
Okay.
dinner.
Give us your name and address.
Are you from Munson Road?
There we go. So on our staff report, firstly, we have the zoning regulations status update. That is essentially in the same place as it was last month. It's still being worked on currently, and there is a plan to get the subcommittee together, hopefully sometime in March, if possible. We were lucky enough, me and Mark, to go to a Naugatuck Valley Council of Governments meeting, informational session concerning short-term rentals, hosted by Mark Glidden, who is the president of Casio. He's also the creator of the city of Simsbury's ordinance on, what was it? Sorry, the City of Simsbury's ordinance on short-term rentals, and during his discussion and presentation, he was able to talk with all of us considering how to deal with short-term rentals, and that would be through a town-wide ordinance instead of through a planning and zoning purview in order to help make the process easier to enforce it, as well as to remove issues of nonconformity that may come up in the process of working with such cases. And lastly, with staff report, we do have the CT Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies quarterly newsletter and annual conference information. That will be on Thursday, March 28th. And with that, we're still seeing if any of you members of the commission would like to be a part of that, as it is coming up on March 28th. And if you are interested in joining or not, please send an email to Carol saying if you will be going or if you are not going.
Thank you.
Excuse me, so if everybody could just let me know by email or tell me now, because I have to do registration, Is anybody interested at all? Lou? Okay, anybody else?
I'll go. Anything else?
I'm not sure.
Free dinner,
Okay,
guys.
Just let me know next week, early?
Okay.
definitely a no.
No, okay.
I'll have to let you know after check.
Okay, just let me know. You'll let me know? Okay.
My tickets
thank
are,
you.
my tickets are one way. I don't know when I'm coming back.
It's
Okay.
a nice dinner and it's a speech, so, you know, you guys will enjoy it.
I've done.
Well, I don't enjoy speeches, but I don't mind the dinner. All right, Chairman's report. All right. All right, so first of all, I want to congratulate this board. 6 members of this board were at that EDC meeting last night, came out at 7 o'clock to listen to Matt Pugliese make his presentation, the Deputy Commissioner of the DECD. And it was interesting for the point that we have an ability in this town to make applications for hundreds of millions of dollars for various projects if we can dream up have the projects available and have a grant officer or somebody who can look into getting those grants. And that should be something that we should be looking into. I think it's a great idea. Also, I want to thank, I normally don't do this, but I am in agreement with Ken Carroll and his presentation tonight. And I would like to ask on behalf of the commission, and I think everybody on the commission nobody's going to object to this, I don't think, to give us a write-up for the next meeting of the ordinance we have for the blight, and what in fact, how we enforce that ordinance, and respond to Mr. Carroll's issues, his photographs and his addresses. There's several more addresses, there's several more areas of blight that I'm aware of also. And I think it's important that we address it and not dismiss citizens' complaints. And I usually don't make a chairman's report, but that's my report for tonight, and I'm signing off on that. All right. Is there any old business? None. Okay. New business. We have a letter from Emily Jones, Civil 1 Engineering, requesting an extension of 30 days to fulfill the conditions of planning and zoning approval granted on November 1st, 2023 for JRD Properties for 192 Park Road, Watertown. On this agenda, it doesn't say that we should have a motion for that, but I would entertain a motion to approve her request. And I would, do I hear a motion to approve her request for an extension?
Second.
Everyone in favor? Any discussion? Anyone?
Yes.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This letter, I'm just want to make sure that she actually has the right to. I mean, if this goes back to November 1st, she wants to push this out till April, doesn't that run the 65-day clock out?
I think the reason she's, do you know, just go ahead.
Would it do 65 days is the question. I can quickly look that up for you real quick, so it was done.
Okay, please do.
Because technically you have 65 days, because technically you have the 65 days after date of receipt. Yeah, I don't think you're not doing.
Right, that's, I mean, I have no problem agreeing to this, I just
But
don't.
if it's beyond statutory, if it's beyond our statutory authority, we need to know.
If we didn't
It's
just
clearly-
get an email today.
It's clearly over the 65 days.
You know.
Yeah, but it's filing
She
now.
did you read the letter that she submitted?
Yeah,
Yeah, we are submitting this letter on behalf of JRD Properties to request that the commission grant the applicant an extension of 30 days to fulfill the conditions of planning and zoning approval granted on November 1st.
I'm not positive, but I think they did not file the Mylar, and that's why they were asking for.
So what's the statutory time on the Mylar filing? 90 days?
It's I believe it's 90 days, Mr. Chairman.
Right, 90 days.
With the request for two 90-day extensions.
There's an opportunity for two 90-day extensions request? Are we sure? Do we know?
There is a 90-day.
Yeah.
There are requests?
It's a 90-day to file the Mylar once it's approved.
Right, but is there an opportunity for
Yes.
is there an opportunity for a request of an extension?
Yes.
For an additional 90 days?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
so.
it's already
all right,
approved,
All right,
so they're requesting the Mylar extension.
I understand. So they got 90 days to file the Mylar after the approval, and they request an additional extension.
Correct.
Okay, any more discussion? Do I hear a motion to approve this application to extend the,
Yep,
Do I-
it was,
do I hear-
Jack moved it.
Jack moved, all right. Do I hear a second?
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion granted. In the future, we'd appreciate if there's a question like that or something comes up, that we have some feedback on the statutory availability of an extension. Okay, thank you. We go to a continued public hearings. Attorney James Strube, site plan special permit number 202404, Burr Hall Farm for development of a 68.6 acre parcel of land for farming commercial uses, located on Ann Olive Road, Watertown, Connecticut. They have a request from Attorney Strube for an extension of the public hearing until April 3rd, 2024. The original public hearing was February 7th, 2024. That, I believe, is within the statutory timeframe, is it not?
That is within the statutory timeframe.
Okay.
That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Do we have any discussion on this? Do I hear a motion to approve this request for an extension?
I make a motion to approve this extension.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? The motion carries. Now, let's see, application for the Town of Watertown Department of Public Works, replacement of existing triple reinforced concrete pipe culvert with a new 40 by 6 by 4 reinforced concrete culvert and discharge of storm runoff from floodplain at 0 9th Street. Paul, it's
Yes,
all
Mr.
yours.
Chairman. Yes, good evening, Mr. Chairman, Commission, excuse me, point of order, don't you have to read the order?
Yes, please read
Public
the
hearing.
public hearing notice. Did we have this, we already read that this is a continuation of the
Oh,
public
so you
hearing.
don't have to?
All right, we don't have to meet it.
Just curious, I'm
Okay,
just,
thank you.
okay. Again, Paul Vanevich, Watertown Town Engineer, representing Watertown Public Works for an application for replacement of a failing triple RCP culvert in Ninth Street with a new 40-foot-long precast concrete box culvert. The reason we're in front of P&Z is because this is in the floodplain for Steel Brook, and per the regulations, the P&Z Commission has jurisdiction over activity in the floodplain. Last month, we received our approval from Wetlands and got our letter, which I believe was submitted to Carol, I hope.
I'm sorry?
The letter, inland wetland approval.
Oh, yes.
Okay, right. Yeah, okay, so that's done. And there was some discussion about obviously there's flooding in Ninth Street. It's been a long-standing history. And the main thing that the commission requested from us is that because of the stormwater that comes down from Main Street onto Ninth Street, that we put a dip in the road before the culvert so that water coming down does not go all the way down towards the businesses on Ninth Street and around the corner towards the school bus per student operation. So I didn't revise the plans, we just stipulated to that in the approval for wetlands, and I believe it's also in Mr. Massoud's resolution he wrote for, we have no issue with doing that, so I just didn't get a chance to revise the plans, so. That's pretty much just bringing it up to date. You know, we have our wetlands approval. If there's any questions from the commission, further questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them, so.
Okay. No questions from the commission. Does the public, anybody in the public wish to speak on this application? Yes, Day.
Day Palmer, business owner, Knight Street. Obviously, you all know about the flooding, we won't get into that. We've requested that they dig down, clean out in both directions, and we've been told no, there'll be none of that done while this project goes on. Whatever. Our other biggest concern is how we stay in business while this gets work done, because there's not a lot of room there to work, and obviously we don't want to have to close for any length of time. We're hoping that you could do it maybe on the week of 4th of July when we're already closed. That would be the best for us. It would be a better time for the bus company because the buses go in and out umpteen times a day. Yes, it's going to be an absolute disaster for all of us. Unfortunately, we service fire trucks. They're very long, they take up a lot of room, and we go in and out road testing, again, all day long. And it's already an absolute nightmare trying to get out onto Main Street. Believe me, they don't let a fire truck out unless you have lights and sirens on.
Day, have you talked to the Department of Public Works about this?
We have talked to Jerry about it once already.
And what was the response that you got?
They couldn't tell me what time frame that they'll be doing it in because as far as I know, the money hasn't been figured out when they're going to have the money to do the project. So they haven't given me a time frame.
Has anybody given you any assurances that your road will be accessible for your business?
No. No, and unless they're going to put in a temporary something so we can go around where they're working, I don't really see how it's going to be feasible to do. And if you're going to put in a temporary whatever, it's going to go over on somebody else's property, so there's a lot of other, I would think you have to get permission to do those kind of things. We can't just start tearing up people's yards and taking down fences to make room for trucks to go around. So anyway, we're very concerned about the whole thing, and obviously we wish very much that they would take the time to do some dredging of the brook in that area. As far as the dip that they're talking about, it would help a little bit, at least in the small amounts of flooding. When we get large amounts, it actually comes back up from the bus company to us. We actually put something out there to mark how fast it's coming at us. So, unless we address the whole issue on flooding, it's not going to help anyway.
Is it flooding now?
We haven't had an actual flood since '21, but we've emptied our building 4 times.
Okay.
And it's hard. It's definitely hard to do.
All right, thank you. Any other members of the public? Paul, do you want to address?
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
Can I ask a question through the chair?
Yes, certainly.
This is directed to Day. Besides your business and besides the bus company, how many business would this affect?
It affects the whole 55 Knight Street line of buildings that has all rentals in it. And if we're getting flooded, everybody else.
No, I'm more concerned about when they have to do the project, how many businesses, as far as vehicle traffic, will it affect?
Yeah, so there's Millet's Pest Control, there's an audio company, there's an auto body place, there's I forget what the other guy, there's 5 rentals in there that it will affect.
So my concern is that I believe the town has to have due diligence to reach out to these business owners to explain to them exactly, because it sounds to me that they're afraid of the unknown and how are they going to get to and from work every single day. And I'm not sure the extent of time period for this project, but to me, that needs to be done.
have emergency access.
Who, no, nobody's speaking unless they're speaking at the podium, and please address the commission from the podium once you've been introduced. And public participation on this hearing is over, by the way, at this point, because we're now with Mr. Bunovich. Okay, Paul, you want to address this?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, one of the things we're doing as part of this project is widening Ninth Street to 24 feet. The exact measurement varies as you go down from Main Street, but at the crossing, it's only about 18, 19 feet. So our intent is to have one lane of traffic open at all times during the construction and work, excavate, put half of the box culvert in, then, backfill that and make it stable, and then work on the other half. So it's just like opening any road where you're trying to cross, put culvert in or whatever, we're just going to have one lane of traffic open. It's our intent. The main reason Ms. Palmer was mentioning about excavating the channel, because this is kind of a two-part problem. We've applied for FEMA money to do the actual culvert replacement, and they've been we've been going back and forth for like 8 or 9 months or more, trying to get every T crossed and I dotted with FEMA, and this is the last thing we need to get this money that we are, in need of to help this project go along. And once we get this approval from, we got wetlands, as long as we get P&Z's approval for activity in the floodplain, this should be the final piece of the puzzle to get this FEMA money. And, Mr. Lukowski said this project cannot change because FEMA we're going to lose the money we have. We try to, clean the brook as part of this, the rest of the channel as part of this project. That's something we're definitely going to do. We want to clean it all the way down through the dog park to Steel Brook. That's our intent, but it can't be part of this actual application. We're just trying to get this through, right, like I said, for these months to try to get this approval and the money from FEMA for our flood issues. So that's where we're at.
Okay, so this is the horse. You have to get this approval before you can get the FEMA money.
Right.
Okay.
Correct. Yes.
Right.
Through the chair.
Yes, sir.
You're looking at a two-part solution to this?
Right, yeah. We realize the channel has to be, it silts up all the time. And another part of the problem is, upstream, the other side of Main Street, there's issues from Highgate and that section that we are going to be involved in, maybe in putting another pond up there, try to slow, but it's still in a long-term process. This is the one thing we're trying to do, is replace the culvert, which is, the road itself has been eroding around the edges. The culvert's failing. It's just got to be done first. That's our first step. And the rest of it, Mr. Lukowski has been very active trying to get drainage work done around the town, which is going to cost millions, but at least he has been very active in trying to get these things forward, and this is part of our ultimate solution for the flooding in Ninth Street. So,
Commission members, any other questions from commission members?
Yeah, through the chair.
Certainly.
Follow up to that. So once you do the culvert, do we have a potential time frame? You know how long that would take for them to remediate that?
well, then again, it comes down to money, but yeah, after we get this approval, we're going to just come in with another application for wetlands to do the channel. So where the money's coming from, that's Mr. Lukowski and his ballpark. So I don't know the exact answer to that, but it's going to be in the works. Like I said, he's been very proactive in trying to get all these, or at least some of these, the big problems to fruition. So.
Any other commission members with any questions for Mr. Bunovich? Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Now, discussion amongst the commission at this point. Any discussion, any ideas or suggestions? I would say to the commission members that we can approve, we can deny, or we can approve with conditions, so that, we have the opportunity to add or take away various aspects of this application. So anybody have any suggestions or discussion?
Discussion
Yes,
to the chair. I think what Paul said makes a lot of sense. I mean, they have to, I don't think they have another choice. They have to do half and half. And I think that sounds very reasonable. I don't know if the time frame is going to be how many months, but it sounds like they could get it done within a month. And I don't think it's unreasonable for them to close half the road to do what they're doing. So it sounds like they have a pretty good plan. Obviously, I would like for them to do it in July, maybe when things are slower for everybody. That would make more sense. I hope that they could accommodate that. But other than that, I think it's a good plan. I think it needs to get done. And I understand the FEMA money is specific to this project, so I think I would want to approve this.
Anybody else? Jack?
I kind of agree with Mr. Cavallo over there.
Okay. I would raise the issue of maybe we can approve this as a suggestion with two conditions, that they give notice to the businesses on the way they're going to do the project, that they're going to allow access to vehicles and emergency vehicles in advance of the actual start of construction, so that the people don't get unusually upset about anything and come to expect what they're going to do. I think the project is a project that we have to do, but I think we owe it to our neighbors and our taxpayers and our businesses in town to give them. Jack raised that issue, and I think that we could approve that with the condition that they do, in fact, give adequate notice to everybody and be open to discussion and tell them exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, one more question through the chair. Paul, you mentioned that the road right now is how wide at that
I
culvert?
think roughly, it varies. It's, I think right at the culvert, it may be down to 18 feet or less at this
Okay,
point
so
from the erosion.
And you're going to be taking, when you're doing the development, approximately 9 feet away from that road? When you said you're going to close half that road.
Right.
So how much one-way roadage would be left?
It's going to, well, we're going to try to get 12, but at the start, yeah, we're going to have to take out what we can, and leave, hopefully, we'll leave a lane, 12 is a typical standard highway, moving down 84. You can get through, I don't know the actual width of a fire truck, 8 or 9 feet, I'm not sure. They vary, obviously.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, trying to get at
We'll-
right now.
We'll whatever we have to do, whether we fill, again, additional, make, put up blocks just to get one lane, we'll have one lane open.
My only concern is that you start this job and then they try to get through with a fire truck and it doesn't fit.
Right. No, I understand. It's, I know the concerns of the property owners, and we know the area, and we'll definitely, but this has to be done one way or another.
No, I understand that, but, and you're pretty sure that this could be done during the time period where the school buses won't be being used?
If the money's, and again, I'm not the final arbiter on where the money comes from, but, we get the FEMA money, and hopefully we'll have some, and Mr. Lukowski's asking for a fair amount of drainage improvements in the new budget, drainage money in the new budget, and then hopefully we'll get through, and this will be probably the first thing we do when we get the budget approved. So, yeah, and it would be nice to be done in the summer when schools are out and at least the bus company's not, active through there.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other commission members? Okay, so I'd like to make a motion that we approve this, subject to conditions that the building department, building works department in Watertown give written notice to the businesses that are going to be affected by this, telling them what they're going to do and assuring them that they're going to have access. That's my motion. I need a second. If not, we can entertain a motion.
I second that motion.
Right. Okay, we have a second. Do all in favor of that? Any more?
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Thank you.
Communication and bills. Correspondence from Franklin Pillacy dated February 9th, 2024, to the town manager, Public Works Director, to participate in improvement of Munson Road. Request to meet with Town Council, Public Works Committee. Refer to previous correspondence from Attorney Pillacy dated October 31st to P&Z Commission to endorse town participation in improvement the Munson Road under the provisions of Paper Street Unimproved Road Ordinance. Staff referred to Public Works Director for comment and advisement. We don't have to take any action on that. I will entertain, next meeting date is April 3rd, 2024. I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
When you accept the
Do I hear a second?
Second.
you have to accept
All in
the
favor?
communication.
All right.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I believe you have to accept, may have to accept the communication.
Oh, yeah, okay. Motion to accept the communication. I'm sorry, we closed the meeting early, but
I'll just,
accept
I'll
it.
withdraw my motion to adjourn.
And we'll have a motion to accept the communication.
Motion to accept the communication.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Carol?
Don't forget your.
Carol?
Oh, no, I have done that.